And while we're talking about politics tonight, we continue with our fact checks on political attack ads. This one is focused on Democrat Tina Kotek, who's running for governor. This is the newest ad to hit the airwaves. It has kind of an eerie blue-green sort of background. It's paid for by her rival, Republican Christine Drazan. As we get into this, I just want to remind you, I'm not on anyone's political team here. I'm not trying to help the Democrats or the Republicans or the non-affiliated candidates. I'm here to pull apart the ads to help you see which statements are true or false. Ready? Here we go.
Her way or the highway? Tina Kotek stood with defund the police extremists.
The reference on the screen refers to the AFT. That's the American Federation of Teachers. It's a nationwide union for teachers, and if you take a look there, they did endorse Kotek. It's right there on her campaign page. I looked really hard, but I could not find any statement from them calling for the defunding of the police. In 2020, the group did put out this proclamation saying that police should be demilitarized and reformed and should be taken out of schools and replaced with security personnel trained in peaceful solutions. The statement also says the group will support community allies, including Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter certainly does support defunding the police and did in 2020. But I gotta say, that is an amazing stretch. Did AFT explicitly call for defunding the police? No, they did not. Not that I could find. As far as I can tell, that statement is false. Let's watch the next part.
She legalized tent cities.
Well, not exactly. The ad refers to HB 3115. That's the number of a bill that Kotek sponsored and helped push through the legislature. That did make it harder for cities and counties to crack down on homeless campers. It required that their action be objectively reasonable, and it did not really define what objectively reasonable means. The bill also allows homeless campers the right to sue to force the government to prove that standard. So yes, it is accurate to say that she sponsored that bill, but no, it did not legalize tent cities. But it did make it harder for cities and counties to regulate homeless campers. That claim, misleading at best.
And voted with Kate Brown to let murderers and rapists out of prison early.
All right, this line refers to another bill, SB 1008, that made its way through the 2019 Oregon legislature. It changed part of Oregon's strict sentencing guidelines for violent crimes called Measure 11. The bill stopped teenagers aged 15, 16, and 17 from being automatically waived into adult court when charged with serious violent crimes. It also prohibited them from being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And it required a conditional release hearing halfway into their prison term for those who committed their crimes when they were teens. Finally, the law was not retroactive, but later Governor Brown did use her executive authority to commute the sentence of 75 people statewide who fell within the new parameters of the law and would have been covered if it was retroactive. Well, that move infuriated a lot of folks, including some in Marion County. The county put out this statement noting that it affected 17 people in Marion County, 8 convicted of aggravated murder, murder or attempted murder, and 8 convicted of sodomy or rape. But before we get too far down this rabbit hole, let's get back to the statement. Did Kotek vote with Kate Brown to let murderers and rapists out of prison early? No, she did not. Here's another part.
Kotek has run government her way for a decade.
No, she's actually been Speaker of the House for 9 years, from January 2013 until January 2022, when she stepped down to run for governor. I don't know why they said a decade. Maybe they like decade because it worked well with her way. I don't know. Yes, it's been a while that she's been Speaker of the House, which does have enormous power, but it's 9 years, not 10, and it's actually more accurate to say she helped shape government.
Kotek even blocked an investigation into rampant sexual harassment because she didn't think it was her problem.
All right, fact-checking this statement is going to take us down kind of a winding road, but stay with me. We'll get there. The statement cites a KGW report from August 3rd of 2018, and let me just say, we have no control over whether a campaign grabs a story like that we've done. We certainly don't encourage it, but we can't stop it either. So let's take a look at that story. The headliner says Bueller, a Republican who was running for governor at the time, calls for Oregon House Speaker Kotek and Senate President Peter Courtney to step down. By the way, I did cover part of this issue back in 2018, but I did not write this story. It came from a reporter at the Statesman Journal. And it does state that Avakian, that's Labor Commissioner Brad Avakian, a Democrat, Avakian also says Senate President Peter Courtney and House Speaker Tina Kotek blocked his office's attempt to help some of the women who complained. Now, I wanted to look more deeply into all that, so I dug up the complaint that the Labor Commissioner filed back in 2018. This involves sexual harassment allegations within the state capitol by then-Senator Jeff Cruz and others. The document points out that Kotek and Courtney were co-chairs of the Legislative Administration Committee, which includes personnel administration. It states that the committee's lawyer cautioned those making harassment allegations to kind of keep it quiet. The document also charges that on May 15th, the Labor Commissioner's office asked the Administration Committee to forward a letter from Avakian to 3 people who had alleged sexual harassment to tell them about their legal rights. It states that they initially agreed, but then later refused to forward that letter. It also points out the administration's committee sent their own letter to those individuals, but not until June 8th, when some of the statute of limitations were filed had expired. In that KGW story, by the way, Courtney and Kotek denied blocking any investigations. Kotek focused on the complaints against former Senator Cruz and then pointed out that she had no authority on the Senate side, which is true for the Speaker of the House. So, okay, I told you, that is a crazy, twisted path to follow, and I'm sorry if I lost you. It's all right. The statement was that Kotek blocked an investigation into rampant sexual harassment because she did not think it was her problem. Did she block the investigation? Well, there never was a resolution to that question. It's fair to say she was accused of blocking it by a high-level government official in her same party, but that is not the same as actually blocking it. So I think we have to say that statement is misleading. After examining this entire ad, I think it's clear that most of the ad is false. Did she stand with a group that wants to defund police? No. Has she run state government for a decade? No. Did she legalize tent cities? No. Did she vote with Kate Brown to let murderers and rapists out of prison early? No. And by the way, Kate Brown's not voting. She's the governor. So there you have it, an attack ad against Democrat Tina Kotek that is mostly false. It's certainly not the only one of its kind running on your TV or screens, and I hope you watch all of them with a skeptical eye.